Experience Cyclone Filter Cleaner, the smarter, faster way to clean your pool filter. Tired of slow and messy filter cleaning that leaves your back hurting? Cyclone Filter Cleaner changes that. Now you can clean 4 filters in 15 minutes. Designed by pool pros, its spinning action reaches deep into every pleat without you bending over. Just connect your hose, slide the filter on, and watch the magic happen. Clean smarter, faster, and easier with Cyclone Filter Cleaner.
Hey, pool pros! Tired of roasting under the sun and gear that doesn't hold up? Revved Up Apparel has your back with SPF-protected apparel made for the pool pro. Want to stand out from the competition? Done! No minimum orders, no inventory stress. We handle the design, posting, printing, and fulfillment, so you can focus on the grind. Whether you're a single poler or managing a whole fleet, this is how you gear up smart and stay sharp. Check out RevvedUpApparel.com. Built for the pool pro, designed for the proud.
Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
Vac Bags, a global brand that's locally owned and operated, providing pool debris bags to pool guys in SoCal, so your pool can be debris-free for the weekend. More info at vacbags.com, VACBAGZ.com.
This episode is brought to you by Skimmer. Trusted by over 30,000 pool service pros across North America, Skimmer software helps you save time, grow revenue, and boost your 5-star reviews. Whether you're just starting out or owning the market, Skimmer's easy-to-use tools and expert support have you covered. Upgrade your business in 2025 with Skimmer. Visit getskimmer.com/tip of the day to try Skimmer for free for 30 days.
Yeah. Yeah. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride, and listen to the big homie Pete the Pool Guy. Dropping game, keep it real, put the knowledge on deck. From backyard pools to collecting them checks. Ain't no gimmicks, no stress, just some free flow talk. Breaking bread, building up, gotta walk that walk. From the glory to the hustle, every move got a plan. If you work it the right way, you can level up, man. Pool Fool podcast, let's vibe. Game so deep, let's ride. From the valley to the masses, we know. Let it flow, let it flow, let it flow. Pool Fool podcast, let's vibe. Game so deep, let's ride. From the valley to the masses, we know. Let it flow, let it flow, let it flow.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Pete the Pool Guy, and welcome back to another episode of the Pool Fool Podcast. You already know we talk about business, pools, and everything in between. Today is a very, very special day for me because I have one of my good friends, one of my buddies, my brother from another mother. His name's Javier Camacho. He has a pool business out here in the Coachella Valley. I've known this brother for a very, very long time. I trust this guy. He's a real honest guy, and I wanted to get him on the pod. And last time I had him on the pod, the episode couldn't air because there was an upload error, and it was a mess. So we're going to try this again. So welcome to the show, Javi.
Thank you, Petey. And Pete, let's just be honest with your viewers, your listeners.
Go.
You didn't pay your Wi-Fi bill. That's why our last show cut off there. But either way,
I didn't have electricity for like a month that time.
I know. It is what it is. We've been there. It is, but no, I know with scheduling and everything, it's kind of hard to kind of get us both on. So, I'm glad to be here and, talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Awesome. So we're going to kick it off by having the viewers get to know you. I want them to get to know your story, how you got into the pool industry, and then that way they could relate. You know, maybe there's some pool guys out there that are trying to get into the business, or people that are trying to get into the pool business and don't know how. So, what were you doing before pools, Javi?
So I've been doing pools about 4 or 5 years. You know, you kind of lose track of time there. But before getting into the pool business, I worked at the bank, just like you. That's where we met.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I was actually working at one of the major banks. You know, nice little comfortable job, office, suit, tie. Um, it was nice. I mean, you know, it was okay. You know, a lot of people don't realize you know, it might not be a physical stress, but there's a lot of stress that goes on, you know, behind being, you know, behind one of those desks. You know really well. And you know, you know that I kind of fell into the pool business by accident. So while working at the bank, I actually injured my back. So sitting down for 6, 7, 8 hours a day was really hard.
Now, this is the time
And
we're going to be honest with the viewers and the reason why he hurt his back. Be honest. You know, you were trying to carry a lot of food, you know, pizza in particular, and it's kind of hard on your back.
He'd
know?
ordered lunch, and you know, I can only carry so many Subway sandwiches, and I hurt my back. Yes,
And for that, he blames me.
and so it all goes back to Pete. And yeah, no, so I you know, I took some time off and to do the whole physical therapy and everything. And during that time, that's where we kind of, you know, got back together. And I actually started working with you as just riding along. I mean, I'd hardly call it really working, you know. You know, it was riding along, whatever. And you know, I've always been a numbers guy, and for me, that's what really caught my eye, was the whole chemistry of everything, of how things balance out, how one thing works with another. And you know, I'm happy to say that, you know, after physical therapy, I never went back to banking. I just didn't go back to work over there, and I started my own route. You know, a handful of pools, and you know, fast forward to, you know, a handful of years where we're doing pretty good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you said
Yeah,
you've been doing, excuse me, you've been doing pools for how long?
I think it's been like 4 years now.
And in the 4 years that you've been learning pools, obviously there's ups and downs. There's things you
Sure.
learn. You know, what have you learned about this industry?
You know what? There's money to be made for sure. The opportunities out there. Um, there's money to be learned, and it's all about how much effort you're willing to put into it.
Money to be
That I
made.
think.
You said money to be learned.
Oh, did I say learned? Yeah, no, money to be made.
Eh,
There's
potato,
whatever.
potatoes.
Yeah, but again, the potential's out there. It's you know, I mean, thankfully we, you know, you and I, Pete, um, we live in an area where 70% of these houses have pools, right?
Yeah.
Um, so again, there's opportunities out there. So that's the first thing that really caught my eye, the potential.
Yeah. Now I remember
Definitely.
you were when because I was doing pools by myself, and I would hire ride-alongs during the summer, and that's one of the phone calls that I got was from you. You hit me up that you were interested in riding along,
Yeah.
and that was awesome because I was
Hey,
like, hey, we got to connect again, you know?
let's go. You know me, Pete. I'm a man. It's a good and bad. I'm a workaholic,
Yeah,
and for me to stay at home and do absolutely nothing, you know, it was hard. So it was
yeah,
nice. You know, we got to go. We had some hard days starting
yeah,
off. I remember. I mean, you know, shoot, we were knocking out 12-hour days sometimes.
yeah.
Um,
But
but it was cool. It was
you picked
nice.
it up right
Yeah.
away. You had no issues picking it up. You figured it out, and I
No, Pete, don't don't build me up to something. No, like
it's
there was
true.
definitely. I
Look at
still
you
remember.
now.
Yeah, but we all start somewhere, right? And I want to make sure everybody knows that we all start somewhere.
Yeah,
Nobody is born knowing everything. I still remember my first date. It probably
Yeah.
took me like 10 minutes just to roll up the vacuum hose.
Yeah.
Like I could have figured that out. I could have figured out how to roll up a vacuum hose. Um, and that's okay, you know.
Yeah, yeah. No, you know what? No, you obviously it's a learning thing. Coming from banking because we both came from banking. We knew each other from banking. Had a really good relationship there, and then we jumped in. I jumped into cleaning pools. So when you came along, obviously it's something you've never done before, but honestly, you picked it up right away. Yeah, you had. It took you a minute to like really figure stuff out, but once you got it, you got it. You started going to your trainings, you started going to classes, and your education. To me, I saw the hunger for education from you, and it shows.
Again, it all goes back to effort. How much effort are you going to put into something? Really quick, Pete. I want to share a quote that I personally like. I try to relate this to a lot of anything that I do in life. I'm not going to say it word by word because I don't want to say any offensive words to anybody. But there was a bodybuilder,
Mm,
and in one of his videos, he said, "Some of you are strong, some of you are not, but effort makes it a level playing field for everyone. Effort can be given 100% of the time,
that's true.
right?"
That's true.
So,
Look at this
whether
gordito right
we
here, dog. Look at this gordito right here, dog. Wakes up every morning and puts in the effort, man.
don't talk to me about effort. We're going to tell people that you're eating pizza right before
I
getting on this.
was. I was.
No, you still are. You still are.
No, what I'm trying
No,
to say
no,
is in the pool business, in the pool industry,
no.
it's like you could be lazy, you could take your time and slack off, and like there's nobody motivating you. This is a self-motivating kind of business. And
100%.
if you're not the one pushing yourself, nobody's gonna push you. And,
100%.
and if you're gonna be going slow and taking your time, you're gonna do what, 4 or 5 pulls a day, and it's like, oh, I was productive. Like, no, you're not. Like, yourself. You know how what speed you should be moving. I mean, honestly, it should take you anywhere from what? What would you say to clean a pool?
You know,
Roughly,
assuming there, yeah,
regular pool.
assuming there's no big windstorms that we get
No,
out here
just
or
regular
anything like that,
service.
it's 15, 20 minutes
15,
per
20
stop.
minutes. That's exactly
That's
right.
it.
Put a timer,
That's it.
20 minutes, boom.
That's checking your chemicals, you're skimming, you're vacuuming if needed, you're brushing the walls, tiles, you're doing a quick look at the equipment, make sure everything's working good, and or if there's anything you need to bring up. But 15, 20 minutes, I mean, that's what it should take.
And it's like
Sure.
we were saying, is you motivate yourself to say, okay, I got 20 minutes to hit everything I need to hit. That doesn't mean I'm going to skip any steps. That doesn't mean I'm going to, this week I'm not going to do brushing, or this week I'm not going to do net, or whatever the case may be. You got to hit your points because the customers are paying for that pool to be clean. So you got to hit it.
Absolutely. No, for people watching and or listening, excuse me, keep in mind we live in Southern California. Our average pool is 13 to 15,000 gallons. So I know there's areas where the size of the pool is probably 4 of ours, so they take a little longer for sure.
Oh, yeah. I've had conversation with guys from Texas, and it's like 45 minutes in one pool. But you're talking about that's like 2-3 pools combined in one,
Right. And
So yeah,
you charge accordingly for sure. Yeah, definitely.
definitely. Talking about charging, the last podcast episode was a really good episode. We got into some really good topics, and pricing is one of the topics of conversation that a lot of people love to talk about, but nobody really digs into it. How to price? What should I price? How do I know if I'm pricing the right? If I'm in the sweet spot where I'm supposed to be at? What are your thoughts about that, Javi?
Well, we're running a business, right? So in any business, I don't care if you're an ice cream man, uh, running a laundromat, running a dental office, right? Pricing is always top priority. Along with the service we're providing and things like that. But pricing for us, because if we're charging, if we're overcharging, does that make you look like a possibly dishonest person,
Mm,
right? Where we're not getting the bids for those jobs. But
mm,
at the same time, what if we're underpricing? Then we're taking money out of our pockets. Um, and do we work for free? No, of course not. You know, we have these years in the industry where we have our expertises, our licenses, and a lot of expenses that, you know, sometimes the homeowner or even the pool man doesn't realize, right? Because what if, I mean, Pete, let's say, for example, somebody calls you and says, Pete, um, I need to replace my pool pump, right?
mm-hmm.
You're you're not going to go to your supplier, get pricing, and add, let's say, 10%, right? Would you?
No, no, not 10.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't. Why? Because, you know, you think maybe, hey, 10% profit for how long does it take you to put in a pool pump? An hour?
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, it sounds okay, but at the same time, hey, I have my expenses, as I know you do.
Mm-hmm.
We have payroll we're running. We have our vehicles that we're paying, we're maintaining, our insurance for our vehicles, our business insurances, right? And aside from our expenses, we need to make some money on top of
Yeah,
all of that to put some money aside for a rainy day, right?
definitely.
So yeah, no, it's definitely a little bit of a, you know, juggling act, but you definitely need to have an idea of in your market what you should be charging.
Mm,
I can't get into specifics because I can tell you what I would charge to put in that pool pump, but somebody that lives in a city an hour away, it's night and day. And, you know, whether there's more competition, less competition, whatever, you know, it's totally different, but you really need to get that knowledge on pricing for your services for sure.
so whoever's listening, it just depends on the city that you're at or the city where you're doing the repair or the service. You have really wealthy cities, and obviously you have cities that are barely getting by. So you have to price accordingly. And it's hard when you ask pool guys to give you a straight answer because every pool is different. It's frustrating when you're first starting off because you're trying
Hmm.
to figure it out. I mean, you want to price accordingly. You want to price the right way. But if nobody guides you or gives you advice, it's kind of hard to figure it out. So I recommend for the listeners is to contact pool guys around your area. Find out how much they're charging. Get yourself an idea of what that price range is. You want to make profit, you want to make money. We're here to make money. Plain and simple. Like Javi
End of
said,
day.
we're
Yep.
here to make money. We're not a charity. We're not doing this for free. Yes, we have those scenarios where we have old ladies, people that are in need, and we feel like helping out. If you want to help out, go for it. But that's like a one off. You know what I
Right.
mean? In regards of like installations, pumps, and stuff like that. If you go to your pool supply store, they're going to give you wholesale pricing because you are a professional pool contractor per se or pool technician. So then
Hmm.
you have to decide what is going to be your markup on that product. And then on top of that, you got to decide how much are you going to charge for labor? Are you going to charge per hour for the job? Or are you going to charge just a flat fee for the whole job? Okay, I'm going to charge the client $500 to install a pump plus the 30% markup of the pump itself. Just an example. Just throwing numbers out there. These are things that you have to figure out because this is what's gonna help you be able to make profit and make money. So what do you think, Javi? Like what other advice can you give the listeners on how to also figure out pricing? Where else can they go? What do you think?
So something that you mentioned is, you know, talking to other pool guys around you, right? Because again, you and I, we can talk pricing all day because, I mean, we live 20 minutes from each other,
Right.
right? Similar market, similar, you know, we have our high end, low end areas, all that. But if I'm just, you know, give a recommendation to a pool guy that's just starting off is to talk to other pool guys in the area. Join, there's a lot of groups and associations that are nationwide but are local, right? That are good to get in contact with. Find yourself a mentor. I can't
Yeah.
stress that. I can't stress that enough. Now, keep in mind, and when I say find yourself a mentor, look for a good one, right? Because it
You're
can go
like, because
both
when I rode
ways.
with Pete, man, I thought I
Pete,
was learning and gee,
I had
gee
to
whiz.
I had to hit Control Delete on those 6 months of my life. No, I'm joking, but no. And to be honest, I mean, from personal experience, if you know, we can share that a little bit. When I first
Yeah.
started, you know, it was a while before I started doing my own repairs. I really focused on service because that's what I was comfortable with. You know, the most basic repairs, um, I just wasn't comfortable doing. So I had someone that I would send all that business to, right? Um, and here's the thing, whenever he would do that work, I would want to go and see what he's doing, right? Because I want to see, you know, start getting an idea of what's going on. He would be really sketchy about telling me what time he was going to show up or what he was doing, or if he was wiring things a certain way, he would move his body, you know, so I wouldn't be able to see it. Weird things that obviously I know now, right? But back then, it just didn't click. So,
He didn't want you
yeah,
to
I mean,
learn because you were bringing
he
him
did
in the
it. Yeah,
business.
exactly. Sure, exactly. I mean, he was making some good money off of my clients. And you know, once I kind of realized what was going on, I kind of pushed myself away from working with him, and I found someone else. And said, well, no, I shouldn't even say I found someone else. I found two, three people uh that I would work with. I would see what they're doing, and I learned a lot, right? Find that mentor, but find the right mentor.
But I like what you
Make
said. The thing you were doing is you would give the job to these guys so they can make their money. But hey, let me tag along. Let me learn. Let me, you know, that's how you learn.
That's it.
I mean, there's people that learn by seeing, and then there's people like myself that learn by hands-on. I have to do it hands-on, otherwise it's not going to stick up here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So in that situation, you have to go and tag along with somebody that's been cleaning pools for a long time if you want to learn how to clean pools. You know, and ask them those questions. How do you charge? How do you figure this out? Because obviously they're going to be in your area and they know your clientele base. So that's good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And so, and Pete, not necessarily someone that's been in the game for a long time, because you have those people that will dip their toe in the water, and you know, they can tell the pH of the water,
They're
you
like,
know, by yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, that's what it is. No, but still, find yourself a good mentor. You know, usually people that have been where you are, they're willing to help, right? Um, so again, getting that mentor,
What's
getting that information.
what struggles was did you find in the beginning when you were cleaning, when you started the pool business?
You know what? Not back to what we were talking about, not pricing things correctly, and also just my ignorance of the industry,
Yeah.
right? Um, so definitely because yeah, you know, back then, oh sweet, I'm gonna make $200 in 2 hours. You know, I'm gonna do this repair when really I could have made $1,000 in
Yeah.
those 2 hours, right? But you don't know those things at the beginning, so you know that was a big struggle. Um, a little bit of the business side of knowing how to bill clients, invoice them, how to deal with non-paying clients or people that were paying late. That you know that was definitely a big issue at the beginning. You know, and again, we're talking about making money, and cash flow is so important in business. So you know that was a big thing for sure.
Hmm. What areas or what training is out there for them?
just call Pete.
Oh, hell no,
That's
bro.
it. That's it. Just call Pete. No.
No,
Yeah.
we have the Pool Nation podcast. They help a lot with
No, those
trainings,
guys are great for
right?
sure.
We have the Western Pool and Spa Show. We have the um we have so many expos that also provide hands-on training or training classes. There's Talking Pools podcast. They focus a lot on chemistry. So if you want to learn chemistry, make sure you check them out as well. The Pool Fool podcast is meant for you to know and get to meet other pool guys and have them share their experience within the pool industry and have you learn from there. Have you learned from them and their mistakes and things that they've learned?
Right. Right. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, things aren't always all roses in our industry, right? So it's important that we share both the positive and, you know, those hardships that we
Yeah.
run into, and I feel like every guest that you've had on here has always, shared a little bit about that, which is great. Getting that point of view for sure.
Yeah.
Um, and like you said, getting those resources, so many podcasts out here. There's YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not talking about your chemistry. I feel like most of the listeners here, they're gonna know the basics. But try to educate yourself on other things like your invoicing, your payroll, your money management. Um, even should do research on the vehicles that we're driving, how we're running our routes, how to keep track of our routes. There's so many different things that we can continue to learn that isn't necessarily, hey, chemistry, cleaning, the basics, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
because our industry, Pete, shoot, we're pool guys. We have to be electricians. We have to
Yeah.
be plumbers. We need to be therapists to some of these homeowners, right?
For real.
So I mean, there's always learning to do for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So
Go ahead.
Pete, really, really quick. So we're, you know, going back to the money portion of it. We talked about us, how we're quoting, billing. Um, do you have a minimum rate or anything like that when you go into a backyard where, let's say you have a pool, it's a small pool, and the client wants a discount because it's,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's small.
Yeah, definitely I do. I think you have to have a minimum. No matter how small the pool is, there's a minimum that you have set on mind that says, okay, if I'm coming out here, it's because it's going to be worth it. And this is my minimum. And I've said it before, your minimum has to cover, if you include chemicals, it has to cover your chemicals. It has to cover your gas, your insurance, your wear and tear on your vehicle. That kind of stuff is what makes it hard for you to calculate to see how much to charge. And that's the kind of stuff that you learn as you go. Personally, I like to be crystal clear with my business. Every time a pool guy asks me questions, I am an open book. That's got me into trouble, but I like being an open book because I want people to learn from my mistakes. Now, in regards of my minimum
I have
that
my notepad out right now, Pete. I'm learning.
handle my
Just
minimum
kidding.
that I've always not that I've always the minimum that I set is 175 a month. And I figure 175 a month covers my expenses for me to be able to service that pool and make some money. Now, things that I take into consideration, that's my minimum. That's my starting. That's any pool that big, small, jacuzzi, spa, doesn't matter. My minimum is
Whatever.
175. It's a freaking
Right.
fountain. I don't care. It's 175 is my minimum. And I'm going to work my way up from there. So how do you work your way up? Okay, is there debris around the pool? What kind of pool equipment do they have? Do they have dogs? Do they use the pool a lot? And the reason you ask yourself these questions and ask the client these questions is because it's going to affect your chemistry and it's going to affect how much money you're putting into that specific pool. What would you say your minimum is, Javi?
Yeah, absolutely. So my minimum right now, and again, this is related to our area, right? Because again, place to place, but I'm at 180 minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do think that it's important for all the reasons that you just stated right now. But also, I would say keep in mind that if you don't have a minimum and you are just throwing numbers out there, let's say again, my minimum is 180, but this client gave me a sob story. It's a small pool. She says she never uses it, blah, blah, blah. So
They're
I decide to
always
go.
gonna give you a sob
Her
story.
her last pool guy was only charging 130, and so I said, okay, I'm gonna do 140, right?
Right.
Well, aside from what you just said, that's also gonna take up a spot on my pool route where I could have charged 180, 200, 220,
Yeah.
300, whatever. You only have so much time in a day to do the things that you need to do. So if you're
I
plugging
like to
in
call them slots. You only have enough
yeah,
slots to fill,
ser-
and that's it.
seriously. And you know what? To be honest, Pete, with my experience, those people that fight you on price, those are the ones that never want to do the repairs that want to get done, or they shop around and they'll get prices from 100 different places, or order this on Amazon and expect you to install it for free. I don't deal with any of that stuff. That's why I
Yeah.
do think it's important to value your time and set yourself a minimum for sure.
Now, don't get it twisted. If you're just starting off and you're not gonna buy a route and you want to do this by yourself on your own, and you don't have another source of income, then yeah, you're gonna kind of take whatever's coming. But once you get them and once you build your route, then you got to funnel out all those bad pools and fill up those slots. What do you think about that, Javi?
I I have to disagree a little bit with you, Pete.
Go.
I understand because trust me, when I first started my route, I was driving 45 minutes to my next pool, right? Because wherever people were calling me from, I was saying yes, now shoot, forget it. I can, from the start of my pool route day to my last pool, I don't have to drive more than 10 minutes from one end to the other. But um, if you sell yourself short from the start, as far as pricing goes, yes, you want to be competitive, right? But you don't want to sell yourself short because starting off in a business, Pete, you're already dealing with so many challenges that come with any startup and any business, right? So by you saying yes to that $140 pool, $150 pool versus charging $200, 220, whatever, you're already losing money there that you really can't afford to lose at the beginning. So it is hard. Honestly, if someone is struggling like that, I would say go work part-time for another pool company and have a small route that'll
Mm.
take up a day or two, right?
Okay.
And until you can build it up.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely. I speak from experience. I know you just said it yourself. You took on whatever came. I did the same
100%.
thing. I
Yeah.
took on whatever came.
Yeah.
And that's the good thing about this. It's like we don't have to agree on these subjects because you got to learn. You learned that, you know what, man, that wasn't a good decision. If I could
Right.
have done it different, I would have done it different. And I see it on my end a little bit different because the pools that I was getting weren't that far away from each other. So
Hmm.
I see your point though. Like I don't want to. Okay, in the Coachella Valley, you have from Coachella, which is one side of the valley, to Palm Springs, which is the other side of the valley.
Hmm.
Obviously, no brainer. I'm not gonna. You know what though? I'm lying because I took Palm Springs pools too. I had Palm
Well, when
Springs,
we
Cat
started, yeah.
City. I
Yeah,
had
I remember.
pools
I was there
everywhere.
with
We
you.
were spread out all over the place because I was
Yeah.
like, I had that mentality. I gotta get pools, get pools, get pools, get pools. Doesn't matter where they're at. I gotta get them. And it took me a while for me to realize, okay, man, I'm just wasting money, time,
Right.
effort,
Time.
everything.
Yep.
But on the other side of that token, it's like it kind of got my business started. It did get me going to that point where it was like I could now take the time to, or make the decision to say, you know what, I'm not gonna take Cat City, Palm Springs, Javi. That's your side, bro. Anything I get calls, I'm sending your way that way because I don't want to hit that side. But
Right.
from Palm Desert this way, I'm hitting this side, you know?
Yeah.
And as
Yeah.
time goes on and my pool route gets bigger and I'm able to that's a good thing about having pools, having a pool business is you're able to customize your route to what you
100%.
want. If you just want to hit a specific area within one city, then you deny anybody else that wants your service and only stick to that area. That I love that, bro. I love the fact that we're
Absolutely.
able to do that.
Absolutely, Pete. Now, Pete, we talked we talked a little bit about the money making side of it. I also wanted to ask you, what about the money saving side of it?
Well, I was going to tell you, we both come from banking. So we
Right.
have an advantage.
We have a little understanding,
We
right?
have an advantage because we both dealt with we both were small business bankers. We both dealt with small business accounts and clients that have their own businesses. So we got to ask all those questions and learn from their mistakes and see how to structure your
Mm-hmm.
business.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the topics we haven't really touched on the podcast. And I'm glad that you're on here because now we get to do that and talk to the listeners about also the savings. What do banks have for pool guys, for business owners? What kind of lending do they have? And all that good stuff that comes with it. In regards
Look,
to the savings, real quick, let me answer your questions.
yeah,
Definitely there's savings. You want to save for a rainy day. You never know. Man, there's been times. I've known Javi for a long time, guys. There's been times where I call Javi and I was like, dude, I just lost 4 pools. Like literally all within a day. Like, dude, I'm nervous. I don't know what. Chill. Javi's like, chill. As soon as they came, they're gonna come. As soon as they went, other ones are gonna come right in. And it's true. As long as you're honest and you're doing your work and you're doing your marketing and you talk to your clients, other pools come. So you want to have savings. You want to put money aside for a rainy day for your business. And there's our different, so many different options on savings. What do you think, Javi?
yeah. So, um, we really, first of all, we really need to do a whole podcast, when it comes to the banking side, so we can kind of give these guys our perspective on what things that we've learned there, right?
Yeah.
Anything from, how to manage basic accounts to understanding your cash flow, uh, payroll, all that stuff, tax,
Business credit
we
cards,
can be,
business
oh, forget
lending,
it.
your credit
Bu-
score.
business
Phew.
business credit itself, I could sit here and talk for a few hours on. So just a little side note, we need to get back together and do a
Yeah.
future podcast on that. But back to the saving side. So yes, I kind of mentioned that, when we're pricing our work, we're not just trying to cover our initial cost and make a little money to take the family out for the weekend, right? We need to start, you know, thinking about down the road and setting some money aside. Uh, I would obviously talk to the most important person, which is usually your partner, your significant other. Uh, sit down with your wife,
To the
husband,
boss.
whatever, the boss, exactly, and come up with the goal of what that should look like for you personally and adjust your business from there, right? Because again, if you don't know what you're ultimately working for, then what's the purpose?
Right.
So that's one thing, Pete,
And
is
that's another thing, like you
knowing
said, when you're pricing your pools, you're pricing your range, keep that in mind. Okay,
100%.
I want to put $10. I want to make $10 out of this. This is just a number. I want to make $10
Yeah, no.
to be able to throw into a savings from whatever I make from this.
Yeah, I'll tell you, me personally, again, numbers guy, I look at percentages. So from every job, every service account, I have a percent in mind that I want to set aside that's not going to be touched for, a rainy day. It gets invested in other things, whatever. But yeah, absolutely having that in mind. But also, Pete, not us as pool guys and business owners, not just thinking in the mindset of how much am I saving, but what about our costs for doing business? Are there ways to save money on that? For example, your chemicals, your fuel, um, insurances, whatever.
Yeah, you constantly have to look for ways to save money. Every move, every movida is a business expense. Like everything's got to be like, okay, I'm doing this for a reason. There's a point for this. Okay, chemical wise, I'm spending too much money on chemicals. Okay, I got to tighten up on my chemistry. I got to incorporate Blu-ray XL because it's going to save me a lot of money during the summers. Like there's so many things out there that you could learn to be able to save money. And then that money you could turn around and reinvest it within the business, or like you said, put it in a savings account for a rainy day, a money market account, build it up, throw it into a CD, get some more interest off of that. Like there's ways for you to structure your money so that way you have some money saved up for the future. Definitely.
100%. And Pete, you just mentioned Blu-ray XL. I love their products. I use it regularly. Um, and that has been a big money saver for my business. Are there any other products or things or practices that you do that help you for your day-to-day business that, maybe helps on the bottom line there that we could relay to the listeners?
To me, Blu-ray XL has been one of the biggest one that saved me money. I've said it on my Instagram page a lot. I've said it on the podcast a lot. I went from spending thousands of dollars, and I'm not joking, like
Mm-hmm.
thousands of dollars on chemicals, on chlorine, to now I go visit a pool and it's like I'm spending way less on chemicals than I was, and it's summer. I'm spending
Yeah.
chemicals wise, I'm spending what I would probably spend. It's a little exaggerated, but close to like the winter than in the
No,
summers.
stop lying, Pete. Stop lying.
I'm, I'm
By the
serious, bro.
by the way, for the people that are out there, we live in the Coachella Valley. Our summers are, it's a nice day when it's only 109 degrees outside, okay? Like that's a
Yeah.
cool day for us.
But
So,
what I'm trying to say
but
is the
I
chem
get it.
is the chemical is the chlorine got like is there times when I show up to a pool and the zero chlorine? Yeah, there is. But guess what? Because of the Blu-ray cell that I put in the pool, that
Big
pool's not
difference.
green. I don't have
No,
to worry about that.
and I'm just giving you a hard time
Yeah, no, I
because
know,
I
I know.
mean, during the winter, obviously, we save quite a bit, but during the summer, that's where our expenses really kick up.
But
And
but I'm really amazed, Javi, like how much I've saved. Like no
yeah,
joke, bro. Like no joke. Like I've saved a lot because of that. Another thing
for s-
that saves you time, money. We all know that time is money, so obviously it's saving you on that. Is whenever I'm cleaning the filters, I use my Cyclone filter cleaner.
okay.
It cuts my time. It went from 45 minutes to an hour to clean 4 cartridges to what 30 minutes, 15, 20, 30 minutes around
Mm-hmm.
there, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
done. And now I get to move on to the next pool and be able to make clean more filters and make more money. So that's another way too.
You need to loan me your that Cyclone one day. I still haven't had a chance to try it out. I'm interested
Yeah.
in that, but no, like it's important that we talk about
Did your light
ways
turn
to.
off?
No, it's just getting dark in here. I'm
Oh,
turning some lights on. But yeah, again, the purpose of the question is just to have maybe some practices that we can share with our listeners there. And again, Blu-ray's awesome. Chris, by the way, he's such a nice guy, down to earth. If anybody ever gets to meet him or talk to him at any of the shows, he's a real cool guy. Um, but so a few other things. What about homeowners that are costing us money, Pete?
elaborate.
Yeah. So what if we have a homeowner who doesn't have their landscape done regularly?
You know what?
That's costing us money, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely is costing you money,
How do we
costing you
deal? How do you
chemicals.
deal with that? How do you deal with that?
Vamonos. You give
Let's
them a
go.
warning. You let them know. You know what?
Totally.
Hey, this isn't working out. It's costing me a lot of money on chemicals. I'm spending a lot of time here because your gardener doesn't clean up after themselves or clean up the
Mm-hmm.
debris or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have a conversation with them. If this doesn't get fixed, then you know what? I'm gonna have to either increase the price or you're
There
gonna
you
have to
go.
find another pool guy.
There you go. That's exactly it. Because again, we can't care more about somebody's pool in their backyard than the homeowner cares about their pool in
Yeah.
their backyard, right? So if they don't care and they're not willing to properly take care of the yard or things that need to get fixed, honestly, Pete, we shouldn't have that headache. We shouldn't be dealing with that stuff. That should be the client that's on top of the list to get replaced ASAP. ASAP. Because again, we already have our expenses. We don't need any added um expenses that aren't needed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Aren't needed. Going back to what we were saying about the slots, you know what? There are other clients there that will fill that spot and we'll be appreciative and we'll listen to your advice and we'll take care of things that need to be taken care of without, costing us more money.
Yeah. Yeah, but we need to also, in our end, is have that relationship with these clients, that open and communication with them, so that you could tell that, be comfortable enough to have these conversations, and
Right.
they're open to them. If they're not open to having these conversations, if they're always questioning you, if they're like, but why, everything's why, it's like, yeah, I'm not the pool guy for you.
Nope. That's it. On to the next one.
Micromanaging clients is a no-go for me. If you don't trust me, and first of all, I'm not your previous pool guy. So
Right.
whatever that pool guy did, don't make me pay for that. This is a
Mm-hmm.
brand new relationship we're having, you and me. So if I do something that that messes up your trust, then yeah, then you have a reason to micromanage and look over me and make sure I do what I said I'm going to do. But if I haven't, they have to trust. They got to trust. Otherwise, it's not going to work out.
You're the professional,
Yeah.
and they need to understand that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now they don't know if you know what you're doing. No, I'm just, I'm just kidding. But we really do need to establish ourselves as that expert, right? Where they respect our advice for
Yeah,
sure.
but don't bullshit your way through it. Like, go get that education. Like, go
No,
to
for
those
sure.
classes, go to that training, go learn, pay that extra money. Like Pineapple's Pool said, invest in your education. Like,
100%.
that's the biggest thing. Like, spend the money to go learn. I get it. We're all busy. We're trying to stay busy. Sometimes you can't make certain classes. Myself, I can't make certain classes because I'm busy. But whenever I get a chance, man, you better believe it, I'm right there. And even if it's just refresher stuff, we could all use a refresher on certain things. We all learn.
100%. Absolutely. Um, and even going back to establishing yourself as that expert, knowing your limits also, right? Where if something comes up and you don't know, that's okay. But that's where having somebody that you can reach out to and bring in, let the homeowner, hey, Mr. Client, Mr. Customer, I've done as much as I can so far with this. I'm gonna need a little help. I'm gonna bring in Pete, um, who's an expert in this
They're like,
field,
oh,
and he's gonna help me
hell no,
out.
I know Pete.
I know Pete. He's the guy I fired last week.
That was my
no
old
way.
pool guy. What are you talking about? You gonna bring Pete?
Right. Freaking Pete. But no. And seriously, and time also, by the way, we never have time. There's always something to do as business owners, but we have to make time. It's so important.
Priority, bro. I heard somebody once say, we all have time. It's just what's priority. What do you have on those
100%.
priority slots? Because you could make time. We could all make time for something.
There's we always have things going on, but we have to make time. There's again, if you're willing to put that effort in and invest in yourself, invest in your business, invest in things around you, you can make time. If I can really quick, Pete, share just a personal story here.
Go for
it. As some of y'all can see, I'm a little on the heavy side over here.
Bro, why you got it on widescreen?
Hold on. I gotta bring out the muscles though. No, but so I actually used to be a lot heavier, right? A lot heavier. I was over well
That's
over 300 pounds.
that's how we bonded, bro.
Those Subway sandwiches, right? You're trying to get on the commercials. No. So, back then at my heaviest, I would always say, I never have time to exercise. I never have time to exercise. And that was my excuse. I had to work, right? I had a young family back then, but it's because of them. I told myself that, hey, you know what? And by the way, I thought I didn't have time back then working a 9 to 5. Yeah, right.
And now,
But now, yeah, now, right. I wish that's all it was sometimes. But so again, I had to work. I didn't want to take time for my family. So what I told myself was, you know what? I'm gonna get up at 4 in the morning and um do my exercise at 4 in the morning before the family wakes up, before I have to start my work day, before I get home tired from work, all that. And it literally just started with me walking around the block, 2, 3 times. That's all I could do before I would get home, just drenched in sweat. And, after a year or two of doing that, I mean, shoot, I lost about 90 pounds from where I was. And again, we made time. If I kept with that same excuse that I didn't have time, who knows if I'd be here now. And same thing with, again, our education and our business, looking for those mentors, going with those mentors. If we continuously say we don't have time, then where are we going? Right?
yeah,
We need to invest in ourselves for sure.
yeah. It all goes back to what we said in the beginning, which is our takeaway for this episode. Nobody's going to motivate you. Nobody's going to push you. You have to motivate yourself. You have to push yourself. You want to see results? Get at it. Do it. Because nobody going to be out there checking up on you to make sure if you got things done right, if you install that pump correctly, if you netted that day or brushed that day or whatnot. You don't have nobody behind you checking up on you. So you have to be the one that motivates yourself to get it done. Totally agree.
Yeah. And Pete, sometimes I think that that's the biggest difference between an employee and a business owner is the business owner usually has that motivation, that want, that need, that, to move forward, to take that leap, to take the jump, to take the risk.
Yeah. You know my wife Myra, and
Hmm.
we were having a conversation the other day, and because she left the bank. She was also in banking, and she left the bank, and now she's doing her own business. She does sugar cookies, cakes, all that good stuff, right?
Hmm.
But we were having a conversation the other day, and she was telling me, babe, I didn't realize how much you have to motivate yourself to get things done.
Right.
And
Totally.
this is coming from Myra, bro. This is coming from she was a branch manager for Chase Bank, been in banking all her life, knows how to manage people, knows how to get things done. So for her to say that just lets you know how much it's hard. People think this is easy. Like, no, it's hard. Get you having to wake up in the morning. All right, let's get it going. And getting your
Hmm.
list, and I gotta get this done, and I gotta do this. Cause at any time you could just say, I'm gonna go home already.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it a day.
Right.
You
There's
know?
nobody behind you. It's just yourself. You need to have that motivation, that want, and that thrive for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, Javi, thank you so much for being on the episode, bro. I appreciate you. We'll definitely have you back on. I really want to have an episode where we talk about finance, what the bank has to offer, what options are there for them if they want to have a little bit more money to be able to either purchase routes or jump into another avenue within the pool industry. There's a lot of options out there that a lot of people don't know about. They just think it's all credit card, credit card, credit card, and don't realize there's other stuff out there that the banks offer. So
All about cash flow. We'll do that for sure.
yeah,
I know this was kind of last minute, but I do want to get back on here and again touch a little more in detail because there really is a lot of information that some people may not know about or you know, they could be in the industry for years and not know the finance side of it for sure.
Yeah. And the final question, Javi, I always ask this. What piece of advice do you have for the listener? It could be pool related, non-pool related, but what takeaway would you like for them to get?
The takeaway, I want you guys to go into Pete's Instagram, and I want you to scroll all the way to that bottom of those videos, the first tip of the days, and share a good laugh about some of the things that we consider as basic things now that we do in our business, but back then, it was a learning experience for us, right?
They don't
Whether
realize we learn trial by error, me and
it is
Javi.
what it is. It is what it is. I mean, again, we all started from somewhere. I Pete, to date, I'm not a good swimmer. I mean, I'll probably, I know enough to get myself out of a pool if if I fall into one of these things, but I
Yeah.
knew absolutely zero about the pool industry. So again, you know, for us pool guys that have been in this industry for a few years and those pool guys that have been in this industry for 15, 20 plus years, fun little thing, just kind of reflect a little bit, think back to when you first started, laugh at a few things that, you could kick yourself for doing that you did when you first started, and, be grateful of where we are, and the fact that we're in an industry that we can continue to grow, continue to learn, and there's always things to learn for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I know I could look back, like you said, I go back on my Instagram and look at the posts and videos.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff, and it's like
Hey,
when I
you're cataloging things for us without unintentionally. No, it's pretty awesome. I think that's a cool thing. I mean, yeah, for sure.
yeah, it's crazy because when I got into the pool business, I never thought I was gonna start doing the social media stuff, and
Hmm.
and I started documenting the social media stuff because I was like, man, I know somebody out there doesn't know how to open up this pump lid, or I know
Yeah,
somebody out there doesn't know
yeah,
how do you remove the crawler from the skimmer, or how do you connect this, or
100%.
like I was like, this is the stuff
How
that
to
like
reel up a hose.
I would ask, dude, and this is the part that sucks because yes, guys, there's a lot of people out there that want to help out. There is so many people that want to help out. But as you guys know, there's also so many people that don't want to help and want to criticize and always see things in the negative light.
Hmm.
So to me, it was like every time I would ask somebody or ask a question, it'd be like, you don't know that? My my worst response that I would get would be when, hey guys, when I would ask, hey, how do you check pH? Or when I first started, how do you do? Oh, you hire a
You hire
professional
a
that
professional,
knows what they're doing. I'm like,
right?
bro, like how does that help a beginner out? Like
Hmm.
come on,
Hmm.
man. So
Yeah.
I always saw it as, you know what? I'm not gonna be that guy. Even though I'm just gonna be that guy that helps. I always want to be that guy that helps in any way that I can, as far as I can, but with what I know. And if I
Hmm.
don't know, then I'm going to guide you in the direction with somebody that might know more than I do,
100%.
because I never claim to know everything. But if I learn something, you know that as soon as I would learn something, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to do a tip a day on this one because, man, and I would make a tip a day on it and just post it,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah. Absolutely.
you get the comments like, oh, yeah, you didn't know that? Or it's like, really? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
of course I
Yeah.
didn't know that. I'm barely starting off. I'm barely learning. And I get so many messages, Javi, like no joke, bro. I get so many messages from pool guys that are like, they're like, bro, thanks for answering. Thanks for being like honest and like
I was
responding,
just going to
bro.
say that, Pete. I was just going to say that for every negative person that will comment on there, hire a professional, or who's this homeowner or whatever,
Who's this
there.
homeowner?
Yeah, I've seen that too. I'm like, oh my God. But here's the
Especially
thing.
on those Facebook groups, bro.
I
They're
know
brutal, bro.
to me, they're comedy.
Ooh.
I honestly go straight to the comments just so I can like read
Laugh.
the shenanigans there. But again, for every one of those, there's 10 or 15 persons, pool guys, pool gals that don't know, and they saw your video, and it was an aha moment for them, right?
Yeah.
And they're learning. So that's pretty cool. So again, my thing is, I say joking, but seriously, go to Pete's page, go back to old videos, a little refresher on all those. It's always great. But for you yourself, kind of reflect on when you first started, the challenges that you first had. Maybe there was a time where you felt like you were overwhelmed and stressed, but looking at it now, 5, 10 years later, you're laughing at that stress that you were dealing with then, and you wish that's all you were dealing with now, right?
Yeah.
Because that happens also. So again, go back, kind of reflect, and again, be appreciative of the industry that we're in, for
Yeah.
sure.
I always, whenever I get a chance, I give props and I give kudos, and I always shout out Pool Nation podcast. And it's like, Pete, why are you shouting out another podcast? Because that's how I learned.
Why not?
That's where I learned.
Absolutely.
Like literally Edgar, and JJ, and ¿cómo se llama el otro? Oh my God, I went blank right now. But the three guys from Talking Pools podcast, bro, I learned so much. Their classes, their hands-on, their chemistry, like for anybody out there that doesn't know, like get plugged in, because that's how I learned a lot of my stuff, was through going through their classes, listening to their podcasts. Then I started listening to Talking Pools podcast, and that got deep with Rudy. That got deep on the chemistry side. Like
Rudy's a mad scientist. He's like me. We're numbers people. Like if I ever get a chance to sit down with him, I think I'll have a fun time right there.
Yeah, he's a really good guy, and he knows his stuff. So he loves having podcast episodes about chemicals, reactions, certain chemicals, mixing certain doing this or doing that. So if you want to learn chemistry, go check out Talking Pools podcast. If you want to learn hands-on training and you want to learn more about how water flow works, or circulation, or how certain pumps work, or how to do plumbing or certain things, go to Talking Pools podcast. I always give kudos to those guys. Learn so much from them. Definitely.
100%.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We've all made our mistakes. We all learn from our mistakes. But mistakes are going to either teach you something or, hold you back.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely.
I'd rather learn.
That's it, Pete.
Yeah.
That's it, Pete. But man, we covered a lot of. We were kind of all over the place today, but it's cool. Like again, it's just us. It's just two guys talking right here. I mean, it's just whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I love you, bro. Seriously, I'm always proud of you. Every time I see you, every time I see your moves and what you're doing, I'm like, damn, that's my boy right there. I love watching, bro, for reals.
Likewise, Pete, for sure.
Yeah, thank you so much for being on the pod. And everybody else out there, remember, you got to motivate yourself. Ain't nobody going to motivate you. Push yourself. Make it happen. If you want
effort.
If you want it, handle. Make it. All right.
That's it.
Thanks a lot, guys. Catch you guys on the next one. Órale.
Let's vibe. Game so deep. Let's ride. From the valley to the masses, we know. Let it flow.